Want some? Oh yeah, you're a stuffed bear. You don't really drink. I'm bored. Oh yeah, speaking of bored, Smite. I haven't checked that game in like 2 years. Let's see how it is. Okay. Okay. Let's see if this beast really changed. Alright. Loading times seem to be faster. Not bad. Guess I finally have a video to make. First, some backstory for those who somehow don't know what Smite is, because trust me, there's some. So, Smite came out in 2012 in public beta, in a time where MOBAs were dominating the free-to-play market, and by adding a third-person spin to it, it quickly gained a fairly decent fanbase to how different it felt from all the other MOBAs in the market. Looking at you, Infinite Crisis, what the hell were you, and why do I miss you? Damn it. Hi-rez clearly made the game to complete directly with LoL, which clearly worked. But in spite not even reaching half of the numbers that Smite pulled on a monthly basis, Hi-rez seemed to have struck gold with this IP. I mean, who doesn't want to see gods kicking the living dish out of each other? Wait. Loki fricked with a giant serpent? And a horse? And it was the mother in that case? What the hell am I reading? Hi-rez, did you background check your own gods? Is this even legal? Anyway, after a good run of about 3 to 4 years, mainly due to the disparity between what the players really wanted and what Hi-rez really gave, compelled by a push for too many goddamn paid skins. Please stop, Hi-rez. Please stop. The player base started to dwindle as the times went by, as displayed here. Which, as you can see, started around March of 2018. So, why would you come back or even try it in 2020? Look, I know exactly what you're gonna say. Oh, but KJ, there's more players in the game because, you know, we're confined in our homes, so obviously there's more people playing games. Well, Captain Obvious, that's very true, but it's like you coming to me and say, KJ, EA is greedy. Of course EA is greedy, have you seen the FIFA games recently? But it really wasn't just the virus that helped the game. As you can see in the last numbers pulled from Steam charts, the game actually started gaining a fairly good amount of players around November of last year, where the virus wasn't even a thing to worry about for most people. The real reason why there's more people playing Smite is consistent variation in gods. And it all started with Endalar, right? With this god. Up until the release of the main character from Skyrim, every god kind of felt like a slight variation of the god's specific role. In the case of Hunters, that's an ADC for you all players, it was a variation of a god with a stun, damage ability, and ult ability with a huge burst of damage. And this Norse Power Ranger still holds some of those, but The way his abilities feel is what makes him so interesting and different. For example, his 1 is an ability that takes a good 3 seconds to set up, but does good amount of damage. His 2 is him blowing on enemy gods. Yes, I'm being serious here. That after a while does a knockback. His 3 is a teleporter that he can use freely with a 2-minute cooldown. It basically places a teleporter location in one place and then on other, and he can teleport either from one side or the other. But it has a 2-minute cooldown, and you can only use it once. After those 2 minutes, you can use it again. And finally, his ult is basically Indolir realizing a lifelong dream of becoming a goddamn baseball player and hitting home runs that throws enemies across Norse landscapes, because why not? Not only does the ability sound and feel different, but so does his basic attacks. Every hunter builds a variation of items that focuses on lifesteal, speed and power, and shoots with the speed of a gamer that just won the lottery and is rushing to Steam. But Hindalar doesn't. His shots take a good 2 seconds to connect, but when they do, the damage extends to the minions and or gods very close to the target, besides having a bigger damage output. But why do I think this specific god saved Smite? Well, to put it simply, starting from Indolir, the gods that came out started feeling different and original, which is one of the main points of criticism that Smite players had. If you play Herc, you build it the same way as Tyr. If you play Tyr, you build them the same way as Odin. They have slightly different abilities, but in the end, they all kind of feel exactly the same. So here are the gods that came along with the patches that, in my opinion, were what really influenced this new player base. Endelar. His kit feels unique and interesting. Mulan. Interesting combos, as well as a solid mid-tier character that gets to be fairly used. Baba Yaga. A very hard hero to understand and play, but once you do, you might cause some really nice destruction alongside a kit that we've never seen before. Alongside gods, patches have also been consistent left and right, with Hi-rez really seeming like they're listening to the community a bit more. But of course, it's a somewhat big community, so every player wants something different. However, the changes that they're doing is based on what the community wants, and that's always great. Now, keep in mind that all the player numbers I've showed you have all been from one place and one place only, Steam Shards. And this is where Smite really shines. Crossplay. This next part is going to be mostly speculation, mainly because we're working based on leaks from the player base at the beginning of the year, both on PS4 and Xbox One. As displayed here, we can see that Smite has an average of 280,000 monthly active users on PS4, which counts to users that at least earned an achievement in January. And over on Xbox's side, we have around 570,000. Must be the lack of games for that console. To add even more players, a YouTuber by the name of Dukesloth conducted a poll where he asked if the players were using the standalone client, as well as which platform they're playing their games on. This is very important because some players don't use Steam. And because Steam charts only show stats from Steam, obviously we also need to have in consideration the amount of players that play the game on the standalone client. We also need to keep in mind that Dukesloth is a Smite YouTuber, and a lot of people don't watch Dukesloth or don't watch videos about Smite at all. They just play the game. With all of those technical numbers, we can be looking at the very least at around 1 million people playing the game right now. But here's the thing. This theoretical number is already really solid. However, it's about to get even better. All because of one god.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Cthulhu is coming to Smite. And boy, are people hyped for that anti-god. If a guy like that Jason Momoa wannabe Norse god gave Smite a boost on its player base, this man might just be capable of almost doubling the player base on its own. And, in the very worst case scenario, pull old players back into the game while maintaining the current player base happy. Which is, Ubisoft's live service dream. But, it doesn't end there. Anyone that knows what Cthulhu is might very well hear about the oversized squid on Smite and might just try it based on the god alone. And to keep the consistency going on originality, his kit might not be the most original yet, with his 1 being an area of effect damage ability, his 2 being an area of effect damage and slow ability, his 3 being an area of effect escape ability, and his 4 being a area of effect ability. But this time it's original on how it looks, with his ultimate ability being absolutely beautiful, with Cthulhu transforming into this huge true self and showing off that size really matters, and as such becomes 4 times bigger than he actually is in game, which he's already got that big. Here's a photo of him next to Odin, just for the lulz. Look, I know, KJ, you're only making this video because you really like this game, and it's true. It's the game I spent the most time with. I probably have around 2,000 hours on this game alone. But, like many other players, I stopped playing the game because Hi-rez just refused to listen to me and many others. But this really seems like it's a change for the right direction. If you really compare all the last patches, they're all player focused and really trying to balance all the gods they already have, which is a lot. It's more than 100 gods. And I think they're doing a really good job. If somehow you really enjoyed this gameplay on the background made by me, and or you really like MOBAs and you see that you might be interested in this game, just try it. It's the best time to do so. I've been KJ from Indiehub, and I hope I can kick your ass in Smite. Goodbye, everyone.